Okay, Hollywood just said no, and it might change everything. Warner Brothers has officially rejected Paramount's takeover offer, shutting down what could have been one of the biggest media mergers in years. No deal, no negotiations, no second chances, at least for now. So why walk away from the offer confident or desperation? Because when you turn down a move this big, you're betting on your future, and that stake couldn't be higher for Warner Brothers.
Are you honored to take?
All right, because rejecting Paramount isn't just a business decision, it's a statement. Warner Brothers is signaling that it believes it's worth more standing alone than being absorbed into another legacy media company that is Paramount. That could mean confidence in restructuring and upcoming releases and long strategy under the ownership of Netflix over Paramount. But there's a risk. Streaming is still bleeding money. Debt hasn't disappeared, and the industry is consolidating, whether companies like it or not. Turning down Paramount and going with Netflix is a definite decision on how they view Paramount versus Netflix. But it doesn't erase the pressure. Investors still want results even under Netflix ownership. Fans want clarity, and competitors won't stop circling. This rejection doesn't end anything that Netflix and Warner Brothers have. They're still going to go do their, I guess, delegations. These deals take a long time to really come together and really get finalized, but we still have a long way to go. So the real question isn't whether Paramount lost, it's whether Warner Brothers just made the boldest move of the year or the most dangerous one. But
Yeah, so the saga continued. Warner Brother rejects Paramount hostile bid and accuses the Ellison family of failing to put real money into the deal. Warner Brothers Discovery
It
accuses
was at
Paramount
this
of failing
moment
to
that he
commit
knew he fucked up.
accuses Paramount of failing to commit real money behind this $78 billion bid, despite claims of
mm,
full financial backing from the Ellis family. Warner's board unanimously backs Netflix $72 billion deal, urges
mm,
shareholders to reject Paramount's hostile takeover bid, citing uncertain financing and conditions. Ooh! Warner Brothers disputes Paramount's regulatory advantage claims and questions its promised $6 billion in cost cuts if the companies combine, saying they would weaken the entertainment industry.
ooh.
Ooh, that's intense. Warner Brothers intends to pursue a merger with Netflix instead. A strategic industry implication: streaming consolidation, acceleration, traditional studios increasing, dependent on tech scale partners. I'm gonna keep this short and sweet. The only reason it's pushing so hard the Warner Brothers deal is to keep Netflix off of it and to keep the Hollywood status quo being status quo. Now, I ain't gonna lie. Netflix getting a hold of this, it would be a huge blow to the rest of Hollywood. Netflix don't operate how the rest of they do. Compared to studios like Paramount, Columbia, and the rest of them, Netflix is new in the game. Netflix is new in the game, but Netflix is smart. Netflix knows the way to win and keep winning, and they are winning. The streaming war is content. Content is king. And if Netflix gets a hold of HBO, that is world class content they have access to. DC movies, not just the live action ones of the DC EU, but the animated ones. You have Batman Phantasm, Batman and Damien. You have all those animated movies, the Flashpoint Paradox, that you can only watch on HBO. The content on there, it has never been anywhere else, except kind of now with the Disney, HBO, Hulu thing they have going on. But Netflix knows they get a hold of this, it cements their footprint in entertainment. And they're talking about a merger, not a acquisition slash consolidation. They're saying, hey, we're gonna work together and do this. Paramount is like, hey man, we don't need them changing how we do things. And they're trying to leverage, hey, we can get this done better because we know the right people in the right places with this regulatory guarantee because our president's son-in-law is help backing this, which that to me seems like that will further prove that this shit won't go motherfucking through because he already is a part of another deal we reported on. But reel it in. We spoke on this before. Even though some people have issues with Netflix, with some ideologies and things of that matter and content. Hey, content is freedom of speech. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. I understand people's fears of Netflix getting it, but that same fear should go with Paramount.
Mhm.
Whoever gets this, and it looked like Netflix gonna get it, will rise. Netflix is constantly raising the price on everything. It don't matter who get it, even if Disney went for it, and Disney is steady raising the price on Disney Plus. Which, if you all side piece real quick, if you all go back to the original articles and news, Disney Plus was launching. It was launching at $6, maybe $8, could be wrong, just to undercut Netflix. They said that. They did it as a competitive move. Well, I guess it just didn't work out because now, as quick as everybody were to take their stuff away from Netflix and do their own, now everyone is scrambling to put their stuff on Netflix and get a check. Netflix is still the number one numero uno king of streaming platform services. Plain, simple, and period. And if it had to be one, hey, pick the lesser of two evils. Clearly, they're doing something better than everyone else. Otherwise, they would not still be here. And me and my cousin, we've had Netflix since its inception, when they were mailing you DVDs before this shit took off. We're talking about back on the 360 where the app would have a theater-esque mode where your avatars would sit down like they're
Oh,
watching a movie together
I
and watch
love
shows.
that. I miss that. Oh my god. Watch with
Hell,
your friend
I'll
feature.
take you back even further. We've been watching Netflix back when Nip Tuck and Hulu, sorry, not Hulu, Nip Tuck, and that's how long
Mhm.
and old Netflix is, and people do not know this. This Paramount hostile bid, this is desperation. Old lion not wanting things to change and trying to stranglehold their way into it by bypassing the board, going to shareholders, but they're like, because all the promises they making, hey, their promises are unsubstantiated and cannot be proven. You're promising a $6 billion cost cut? How?
Houseway.
Because my whole thing is, to make that happen, you would have to do significant cuts across the board, which will only hurt in the long run. And this, not to beat a dead horse more, but this is the same shit Microsoft was saying they would not do acquiring ABK. And the moment they got them, they cut thousands of jobs. They were cutting jobs so much, so hard. FTC made a statement like, "Yo, we told y'all they would do this." I bet you, if they accept this, and it looks like they are, and they go further into this, we'll have a huge regulatory process going through them, because I'm like, yo, the last time a big company acquired another big company like this, motherfuckers lost their jobs by the truck. This has to happen. And I know some people are going to say, but Infamous, aren't you against the corporations? Aren't you about, standing up for the little guy? Hey, look here. I'm not as business savvy as my cousin. I didn't go to school and take her marketing classes and etc. I went the other route. But one thing I do know, when you are in as much as
Yeah.
Warner Brothers Discovery is, to where you have a single player game beat out Call of Duty, the biggest entertainment juggernaut for X amount of years, making over $1 billion plus in profits, if I recall. And someone sits down and looks at the numbers and say, hey, that wasn't enough, bro. Yo, you got some problems. You got problems. When you sit down to your board and they're reporting, hey, banks ain't willing to give us no more money, and everyone turning their seats like, hey, Phil, what did you say? You got some problems.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. And not only is Netflix trying to acquire them, but they're gonna take on a chunk of that debt. They're like, hey, we not only do we have a plan to save you all. We gonna take on this debt because we got this. People may not realize this, but once upon a time, Netflix was being dried out, but everybody was pulling their content off of it to start these streaming wars, start their own platform. Netflix made a promise and said one day half of all content on Netflix will be Netflix original.
Oh
I
yeah.
believe that is currently true.
Yeah.
You go up on Netflix, you can't go to not one section without seeing that red end of something that they made. And yes, they are quick to cancel shows or whatever, and you may be upset with that. That's business. Because they're not selling you these shows. They're selling you the subscription to watch them. If you ain't watch them, how we make another one?
Mhm.
That's good business. As bad as it may seem, why are you getting attached to a show in the first place? This goes
All
back to the
right
argument we
now.
had with. No, I'm saying this goes back to what we were talking about, like with Dragon Ball. All good things got to end. Every show don't need. How many seasons is Grey's Anatomy on? 20.
Oh god. Don't get me started on
Every
that.
show, every show don't need that. Get it out, let it be shown, move along. We'll keep updating as this goes along, but I was shocked to see the reject because that was a lot more money that they're willing to pay. That board, they probably saw the same thing I saw. Hey, you desperate. You up them by over 20 over 20. Why are you so thirsty? They see
Yeah.
something we don't see.
I
So
listen. I personally didn't never I never liked the Warner Brothers number, their figures, because when you really delved into they offer, they were it was like they were putting all this money, well, most of it. I mean, not literally, but most of the money, it was like they were gonna put it on a credit card. And Warner Brothers probably looked like, bro, that's what we did with Discovery, thinking we had it, and we ain't got it. So they was like, "Oh, we're not gonna repeat the same thing that got us here. Fuck you. We're staying with Netflix." And I get it. When you really looked at the deal, they was borrowing money from a family. Then it was some type of financial institution that was gonna front them the rest. Like all that,
Yep.
nah, that ain't real money. They ain't real. It was bloated. It was a bloated offer, and I continue to say what I said last time, and I stand on that. I feel like Warner Brothers, not Warner Brothers, but Paramount just did this to be dicks to drive up the price, or try to, like that motherfuckers on eBay when you in a bet and you know they not gonna win.
Oh,
They just want you to
yes.
pay more because they lost. Like fuck you. And I honestly felt Paramount was just being dicks. They knew they weren't gonna make it. They knew they fucking deal was not as good as they portrayed it to be. No, it wasn't real money. It wasn't real gold behind that dollar bill. It like the Great Depression, that dollar bill means nothing if there's not something backing it. I never liked the
Great point.
Paramount offer from the jump. I never took this seriously, especially how they did it and the way they went about it. Because if you had the money, why didn't you just go through the betting process just like Netflix did? Because there was other people betting on Warner Brothers at the time, and why you didn't do it the right way if you really had it? No, you try to be scheming, you try to be all backdoorist and shit like that, and so rightfully so. The board was like, "Nah, bruh, we not repeating our past mistakes. Listen, at this point, we're gonna do something different." And we'll see. The Netflix deal still could fall apart. They still got a long ways to it's officially finalized. But yeah, I never liked the Paramount bid from the jump, and I didn't think they were gonna accept it, especially when I looked into how that number was gonna be generated and brought up. They was gonna have to scramble up some money from all these different financial institutions and then a big family. And nah, bruh. And let me just say this on Netflix and I'll be done with my point. Netflix got it out the motherfucking mud. Cause I remember at one point where Netflix was struggling. They were trying to get bought out
Mhm.
by any fucking body. And everybody said, nah, nah, nah. The big snoozy Hollywood studios was like, nah, this streaming. What the fuck? You're mailing DVDs. Like, ugh. Like they turned their nose up at Netflix. And I bet every one of those motherfuckers that told or advisors or whatever the people be tell the owners of these businesses like, no, yes, this is good purchase or not. I bet they probably got fired because now Netflix is one of the most high value. I think it's almost a half a trillion dollars. That is extraordinary when you think about
Mhm.
Netflix going around trying to shop itself and everybody saying no. So Netflix definitely got it out the mud. Listen, I know people feel a certain type of way about certain type of content on how Netflix does it. I don't really know. I'm not gonna get into that. There is some good shit on Netflix that I watched that I like. There's been shows that started off good and went off the rails. The Witcher, to be an example. I don't agree with all
Love it.
their directors' decisions, and I think they need to stay true to certain material. Listen, at the end of the day, you cannot say Netflix has not been a champion story. There's going to be a movie about how Netflix came to be, how it struggled, how it almost disappeared, and how it made a huge comeback and went through trials and tribulations. So Netflix is battle tested, even though to some people Netflix is quote unquote new money versus old Hollywood money. That little saying is, but baby, Netflix ain't going nowhere. They staying 10 toes down. They have weathered many of storms, and even the storm right now, with financial depression that's going around, they are still earning a profit. And today in 2025, going in 2026, not a lot of people can say that. So hey, shout out to them. Let me ask the audience: did Warner Brothers make a smart power move by rejecting Paramount, or did they just push on their best exit option? Honestly, in my opinion, the Netflix was the better thing. We'll see how they treat the content and all that. Only future can tell. No one can really predict that. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm hoping all for the best for all the products that is on the Warner Brothers umbrella. Hopefully, it stays true to whatever it is and it just continues on. Because Warner Warner Bros. Do got some good shit across, I don't know what's
Mhm.
gonna happen with the video games, but movies, TV shows, the HBO app. There is some good stuff under the Warner Brothers umbrella. So I'm hoping Netflix takes the care, takes the time, and really support all the products they're gonna assume in this deal. But listen, I think Netflix, hey, they got some smart people at that company, and they making a lot of good shit. So you can't deny it. So shout out to them. Hopefully this works out, and we'll keep reporting with any updates covering this topic.
And that's it for this video of Are You Not Entertained podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll never miss our next hot take. Until next time, are you not entertained?